and I am being pursued, federally prosecuted. I'm being threatened by the affiliates of the A.D. King Foundation, and I'm going to give you the timeline and the motive. Many of you have heard the name Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks. Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks was besties to Cynthia Dolores Nottage Tucker and Coretta Scott King. I had the privilege of being appointed as the original creative arts and youth director of the King Center. It took place because Yolanda wanted it to. 1994, January 17th to be exact, was the first day that the King holiday was a day of service. The next day, January the 18th, Dexter Scott King killed the Creative Arts and Youth Department of the King Center, took the staff from 71 to 14. That Creative Arts Department was extremely precious to Yolanda. She founded it in 1982, just like her aunt, Edith Scott Bagley, Coretta Scott's mentor, founded the Creative Arts Department at Cheney. January the 19th, there was a conference call. On it, a lot of our mothers from the movement. Amazing Grace Banks Sullivan was on that call. Andrea Dash Gray was on that call. Cynthia Dolores Nottage Tucker was on that call. Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks was on that call. Andrea Dash Gray was on that call. And a whole host of mamas that were devastated that the work that they had worked on for like the past decade or so was crushed in the pursuit of monetizing Martin Luther King Jr. On the 20th of January, 1994, I popped up. Now, it needs to be pointed out, at this time, Isaac Ferris is about 30 years old. I'm 15. Everybody from the hood know the play. Had a juvenile crack his cranium. It was at that time, the first time in my life, I realized the Yolkmeister was Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter. A lot of people talk about knowing Yolanda and knowing Yoki. I had only experienced Yoki inside of the Bright Hope Baptist Church, the Zion Baptist Church, different creative artistic events, and with her detail, some of my big brothers. And so we're going to leave that like that. I had to take the nonviolent pledge. Yolanda rebuilding the Creative Arts Department, rebuilding the Youth Department, because Cynthia Dolores Nottage Tucker and Edith Scott Bagley are launching College for Teens. Summer program at the Cheney campus allows urban inner city kids to come to the Cheney campus to get a college experience. It's based on the self-efficacy of our youth, you know, their belief in themselves. Edith Scott Bagley would say a lot of kids come from the suburbs where they're provided with all of the tools, all the resource, all the encouragement, all the support to feel like the world is within their reach. But there's also certain inner city kids that have the same creativity, same anointing from God, same ability to impact and change the world, but their realities are oftentimes stifled by the harshness of their realities and the innumerable challenges that they have to face navigating through the urban inner city. She would take a balloon and say, your mind's like a balloon. Blow it up, let the air out. It never goes back to its original shape. Once it's expanded, it never goes back to the original shape. So our mothers wanted to expand us little nappy-headed Negro children experiences, and College for Teens was amazing. If you go to urbansuccessuniversity.com and you scroll down, you can see the last class of College for Teens, 2002. Now, Yolanda started conceptualizing Urban Success University around 1997. See, everything in 94 kind of got calmed down, and a lot of people point the finger at Dexter. But the reality of it is, he was 7 years old when his father died. So a lot of the things that we expected him to know as black males in the community, he didn't have a clue. You know who did? Isaac Ferris Jr. Put in a position of leadership in 1995 and undercut everything Edith and Yolanda was doing. And so 97 is when she conceptualized Urban Success University as an independent voice for our urban youth that could not be corporately or politically controlled. She's working on her book in 2002, 2003, Open My Eyes, Open My Heart, a celebration of our common humanity. And December the 10th, 2003, she called me, meet me at the Heritage Sanctuary. Okay, I come up I-85. It's Wednesday night after Bible study. I'm asking Joe, Reverend Dr. Joseph Lawrence Roberts, you seen the Yokemeister? Nope. Asking Deacon Brinson, Money Mauve? Nope. Go up to the center, don't see her, call her. She said, I'm in California, but you needed to be at the Heritage. Why? Because God said so. Her and my sister, with their little prophetic insight, just let it go. Right? It's been like that since I was 3. And so I get a couple phone calls later and find out that my best friends were pulled over by the Muskogee County Sheriff's Department, and my best friend, Kenneth Walker, was shot point blank range on I-85 by the Muskogee County Sheriff's Department and never claimed he had a gun. Kenny was sitting in the rear right seat of the truck, which is my preferred seat. If Yolanda hadn't called me up to the Heritage, I'd have probably died that night. That was the day I became a single dad. That's imperative for how this plays out. Everybody understands the importance of this day. From that day forward, you see my son and Willie Watkins' daughter representing the two bloodlines, the two lineage lines of the consolidation that took place between the King Center and the King Association. Coretta Scott King gave Cynthia Dolores Nodis Tucker the Legacy Award in 1988. She opened up the Martin Luther King Jr. Association, the only Martin Luther King Jr. anything that Coretta officiated. And Cynthia Dolores Nodis Tucker and Coretta Scott King were 2 of the 3 pillars in the National Political Congress of Black Women. Coretta Scott King, the prophetic pillar, Cynthia Dolores Nodis Tucker, the political pillar, and Shirley Chisholm, the presidential one. Okay, boys and girls, this is a history lesson. And so we fast forward the videotape. And what Coretta wanted the youth of the King Association to do was ring the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Now, when the groups are consolidated in 95, obviously we're not focused on ringing the bell, but they're constructing the Horizon Sanctuary. It's now got a bell tower with an African cross. I'm ringing that bell. I'm ringing that bell right now. Okay. So we're into like 2005, 2006. Our founding pastor and founding chairman, William Herbert Gray III and Joseph Lawrence Roberts, are retiring. We get Kevin Johnson and we get Raphael Gamaliel Warlock. Now, this is the Black church. I'm not, but I'm growing the remnant. They 15, 16. They used to Jersey Joe. They used to William Herbert Gray. You knew pastors got to come in and embrace and meet the kids. Kevin Johnson never did it. Warnock never did it. Okay, so we are in between Coretta's first stroke, March of 05, and her second stroke, and the pastor that we're expecting to get, that we voted for at Ebenezer, we don't get. Number 2, pulled out. We get Warnock. We don't know him. We don't know where he's from. He got a lot of like rumors about shit. Word is he don't like masculine men that he can't control. When my man was in Harlem as a youth minister, he hosted Castro. He just came out of a child abuse situation with a black boy in Baltimore. My guy Keith. Keith is from Be More Careful. He got to be in the house when the lights come on. He goes to an overnight summer camp at a church where Warnock is the pastor. He urinates on himself. No big deal. We're going to get you in the shower, get you cleaned up. We're going to talk to you and then get you back integrated with the boys. The youth ministers at Warnock Church lock him out the cabin. Young man hadn't been in the woods before, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, looking for a safe place. There's a lights on the ball court, so he goes to sleep on the basketball court. He's awakened to a bucket of urine being thrown on him. Talk about an initiation. Now, the toilet facilities at this facility are working, so we don't know what the frick you got going on with these group of boys that with some kind of initiation accumulated a bucket of piss. But we got a black mama here in the morning, and she ain't playing about her baby. And not playing about her baby. All of a sudden, Warnock and his youth minister pops up. They're interrupting the investigation, so much so that the responding officers arrest Raphael Gamilia Warnock and his youth minister. They escalate the situation, make it go left. The investigator isn't able to get a good report. Warnock is released, said he's within his legal right. He's on his political assent. Comes into Ebenezer, brings a youth minister by the name of Wilbur Willis. Wilbur Willis squeezed a boy's butt cheeks. I choke him the fuck out. Growl up to Emory and tell him if he comes around boys again, I'm going to break both his legs. I didn't do it as a member of Warnock staff. I did it as a member of the fathers. All right. Now that was 2010, 2011. Let's back up a little bit because my brother, Kenneth Jerome, the original KJ, dies in May of 2005. I'm really not feeling all this prophetic shit. I'm ready to deal with the motherfucker that murdered my brother. But William Herbert Gray, Joseph Lawrence Roberts, I gotta have Yolanda's back because she's going through a lot. Coretta shuts her eyes January 30th, 2006, and Yolanda's receiving all types of pressure, okay, because she's not participating in the monetization of her father. So it's the 2007 King holiday. And I don't know exactly what it was, but Shannon Jones and Isaac Ferris Jr. and Warnock have some kind of photo optic thing set up, and Yolanda deems it to be satanic. She's not going to perform on the 2007 holiday unless I introduce her. I go behind the desk and introduce her. There's a lot going on. She's about to open up Coretta Scott King Young Women's Leadership Academy. We're closing out Price's Academy, Young Women's Leadership Academy, and on May the 15th in 2 days, at the anniversary of Ascension. Yolanda is over at Dexter's friend's house and under extremely questionable circumstances dies. It just doesn't make sense. Everybody's pushing for an autopsy. Everybody's running to burn the body. Willie Watkins burns the body. In the hood, we know Dexter got high. We know Isaac got high. Yolanda didn't get high. And this looks like a bad batch of dope that she was slipped. In our opinion, nobody can prove it. And so it bothers us that they're launching the A.D. King Foundation at the exact same time, claiming and sweeping her work up under the rug. You can't beat Isaac. You can't deal with their crap. And so we're going along with it. 2011, that's when they're trying to lock our teachers up. 2011, that's when we have the bully issue. Jaheim Herrera, a young man in DeKalb County, being bullied in school, went home and hung himself. Why was he? What was the issue that he's been bullied at? Homosexuality. And so I don't want to create that stigma for my boys. That's why I cleaned it up for Warnock. That's what the issue is. That's what they all know. Bam. So our mothers forced me to throw the watch night party for our girls at Coretta Scott inside of the King Center Auditorium, January of 2011. January 5th, my mother's dies. March 15th, Amazing Grace Banks Sullivan ascends. June 11th, Edith Scott Bagley ascends. I'm out. Amelia Isadora Platts Boynton Robinson. It's not my grandmother. That's my Uncle Bruce's mama. That's my cousin Dr. Carver's mama. My father, Samuel William Boynton's mama. My grandmama, my mom is Pearl E. Jackson, matriarch of that Dallas Voting League stuff. Now, yeah. Mama Amelia throws a 100th birthday in the King Center Auditorium, August the 18th, makes me recommit to this. And I got a lot going on, okay? I'm dealing with Reed Lindsay, this corrupt superintendent in Pottstown. I'm making him remove We're converting 627 West Clearfield, the biggest dope corner in the 90s, into the sanctuary for a catch for the prison ministry we put behind the wall in 2007. And I'm launching the Edith Scott Bagley campus in Wilmington, Delaware. And so, in the interim of all of that, January is when Dexter and Bernice Fort's Martin Luther King III off of the King Center. Bam. We're leaving them the frick alone. All right. July. Well, let me run it through real quick. 2013, William Herbert Cray ascends. January 2014, my father ascends. November 2014, Miles Monroe ascends. It's hard for you, guy. February 1st, Erica Scott. I got 3 campuses. I got my Philly campus. I got my Wilmington campus. I got my Atlanta campus. Erica Scott, first female student, February 1st, 2015, shuts her eyes. Next, it is, I have her funeral is February 11th. We All About Love with our daughters. Obviously, we have a Valentine's event February 14th. Next day, I go to call Reverend Dr. Joseph Lawrence Roberts, Mama Wortham, tell him I'm late. He ascends. On Friday, we have a musical tribute. On Saturday, we have Joe's funeral. On Sunday, Warnock makes the kids perform Youth Day. Horrific. We're coming up on the 50-year anniversary of Selma. I got Barack on the bridge. I got John Lewis on the bridge. I got Mama Amelia on the bridge. Everybody on the bridge. We got a group of students over at Edmund Pettis' gravesite. It don't go too good. Bang. After that, then we got the Baltimore situation, Freddie Gray. And all of a sudden, bam, I got a march in Philadelphia where my youth get pepper sprayed by the Philadelphia police. I got all types of crap. So fast forward the videotape. We're in April 2016, and I get my second daughter from Urban Success University murdered at the hands of some other students of USU. I got USU at Sarah Pyle in Wilmington, Delaware. Then there is Central Baptist Church, and then there's Howard High School. So Amy Joyner Francis, April 21st, 2016, is murdered. Everybody like, is she going to jail? Whatever. Now, yeah. So that's the backdrop. Now I'm fast forwarding up to October of 2022. One of the last dying wishes that Cynthia Dolores Nottis Tucker had was that we get the real story of Rosa Parks, because 90% of what you were told about Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks is a lie. In October 2022, the real rebellious Rosa Parks is released in Peacock. Now, our daughters, all right, they love this. It's inspiring to them. And they're launching the Rosa Parks Brains Over Booze movement. Let me tell you where it came from. Fulton County, Big Brothers Anonymous, the Obama Foundation, my brother's keeper, getting all the boys together, summer of 21 to summer of 24. My daughter's like, what about us? What's going on with y'all? It's hard for us. We ain't got no housing, ain't no real jobs out here. And I found out our daughters are spending $250 for a stripping license. Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks, Cynthia Dolores Nottis Tucker, Coretta Scott King, Yolanda Denise King, all for women's rights. It ties right in. Our daughters launched the Rosa Parks Brains Over Booze movement. They're combating the over-sexualized culture and the social media pressure, attempting to objectify them and force them into methods of perpetuating income that are dependent upon their hands on their knees, showing off their little booties moving, instead of their hands on their keyboard, showing off their business moving. And so they want to watch the real rebellious Rosa Parks inside of the Yolanda Denise King Auditorium and go upstairs to the Rosa Parks room like I did in 2011, to her room, take some selfies, that type of thing. And they reach over to the King Center and are quoted $2,500. They call me, ain't no way in the heck. Boom. So this is simultaneous to Raphael Gamaliel Warnock being up for re-election and the question about community. In the interim, when we converted the Dope Corner into the sanctuary, and during COVID, we partnered with the Philadelphia Sheriffs, and we're giving out 3,000 pounds of food. Deacon Marvin Brenton, my community engagement mentor, Deacon is like, hey boy, we open it back up, get down here, help me out with this. And so bam, that's when you see me start taking pictures with Brittany Johnson, Restoring Hope, trying to come outside in the community. Nobody knows them, so I'm giving them some street cred, taking some pictures. Well, during the month of November, what happened is a logistical clusterfuck. the Heritage Sanctuary of Historic Ebenezer had been closed for COVID, and so when the pressure came on for Warnock to have to get food out, then nobody ordered new food from a food bank. We gave people old food. The community got sick. Okay. In the interim of me dealing with that, there's also a conversation about the fact that Warnock gets a $100,000 housing allowance, and he's unable to get that housing allowance, becoming a U.S. senator, and the church is shopping for a house below 900,000 or over 900,000, below a million, in order to buy him a second home. In the back of my head, I'm thinking about how all of our daughters are dealing with this housing issue. I'm not feeling it. And so Warnock goes in the office, and everything that they were talking about doing for the community is gone, because now he's won. So December the 1st. Well, let me back up. The only time I ever went behind Warnock's desk is when Yolanda made me. And so we're going to stamp the Heritage Sanctuary. Christine King Ferris is dying. Naomi Barber King is dying. I have established the Believing Soldier Battalion. And so we going behind the Heritage Sanctuary desk. We do a photo shoot. Y'all see me with the hoodie, with the sneakers. Boom. That is solidifying the fact that we the fuck out. We not fucking with Warnock. What they got going on ain't popping. And we make that public. Next thing you know, there are 2 boys that are shot in the Atlantic Station. When those 2 boys are shot in Atlantic Station, we had having conversations with Shannon about our daughter's Brains Over Booze movement. I need to insert from 2007 to 2015. Well, in 2007, when they came up with the A.D. King Foundation, they started pulling all the funding from everything that Yolanda had in place. And so the only legitimate method of sustainability is to go from being a nonprofit to a social enterprise. Let me make that plain for you. There's 3 sectors. There's the for-profit sector, there's the government sector, the not-for-profit sector. The for-profit sector makes money. The not-for-profit sector makes a difference. The government, I don't know what the frick they doing. And so what we did was we borrowed a premise from Mama, and when we were kids, we wanted to go to the amusement park, and we asked Mama, can we have some money? Nope, ain't no money for that. The pastor, nope. You know what y'all need to do? Y'all need to create a car wash. Okay, you can wash some cars, take that money, and go to the. Mama and them did it. They wanted to go to the play or a little women's retreat. They had a fish fry. They had a bake sale. Took that money, not put it in their pocket, lost sustain, expand our not-for-profit efforts, and that's what we're doing. We launched Urban Entrepreneur. Right, I partnered with a company, Kingdom Press, down in southern Georgia. They were doing paper church business directories. Weren't able to really connect with the community, and we started doing directories. We did 403 of them from 2007 to COVID, registered 48,000 Christian business owners within the state of Georgia. We did 46 directories, registered 8,200. There's over 500 folk that registered from New Grove, over 500 folk from Elizabeth, over 400 folk from House of Hope, over 300 folk from Impact. And during COVID, all of those ministries crashed because business went from brick and mortar to click and order, and they had no substance to provide the entrepreneurs. And so we're thinking of a no-brainer. Our kids, our daughters came out the womb with these microprocessors in their pockets. How about I give y'all the old directories, you update them, your parents can pay you, now you get some money using your digital brilliance instead of your little speed bump. Great. When Shannon went on Fox News with Timothy McDonald, because that's what happened. 2 boys got shot in the Atlanta Station, and Concerned Black Clergy went on Fox Atlanta News and said, we got a program that's going to lower teen violence, put a couple dollars in the pockets of our kids, call on community mentors and businesses. It's the exact same report that Atlanta News First did on John Bailey's Wheels and Tires by Bailey a month and a half ago, when it actually manifested, but they had to sweep it under the rug, but we ain't get that far yet. So December, probably that night, I'm talking to Shannon. He's like, man, we can go. I said, well, you do realize I ain't giving out no kickbacks like the old white man did. He got to sweep it under the rug. Got to sweep it under the rug because you just announced it. Now, I told you my best friend got shot December the 10th, 2003 by the Muskogee County Sheriff's Department. What I didn't tell you was during the presidential election from 2020, I was leaving a voting rally in Philadelphia, heading to a listening party in Wilmington, Delaware. I got pulled over by the Philadelphia Police Department. I got extracted by my vehicle. I got shot up with tasers. I got illegally held for 6 days, and it scared the shit out of my female students. So I'm riding with them with no brakes. So I'm telling Shannon, hey Shannon, ain't no kickbacks, bro. That's going to my daughter. So now it's December the 9th, and I'll tell you the significance because when my best friend got shot, I'm a plant. I'm a First Battalion Marine Corps commander kid. My son, I planned him in the Rangers. I'm not driving up I-85. My son. I'm not leaving him down there. I become a single dad. And my son has never really had this story unpacked for him. So we're inside of the Heritage Sanctuary. It's December the 9th. It's 2023. And we're in there with Diane, one of the Rangers. Very emotional experience. I'm walking out the sanctuary and I'm walking to the street with my son, and Robert, one of Warnock's little minions, comes out the gift shop having a conversation with me. I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to hear it right now. This is a sensitive spiritual moment with my son. You know who I am, you know who I am, you know who I am, you know who I am. You the motherfucker that's gonna shut the fuck up right here, okay? So he come up with this lie talking about I hit him. And the reason for that is because the only way you can remove someone from the Martin Luther King Jr. National Park is to get a federal judge to say that they're aggressive. So they come up with this lie that I'm aggressive. Whatever. False report of a crime in Fulton County is a crime. 10 days have gone by. And so I text David Dickhead Dunjab, the senior law enforcement officer of the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site. David Dunjab then tells me, he says, listen, via text, come and get a copy of the report. Now, his supplemental report says that the initial report was done. There was no crime. He opens up the report. He says, so cocky, that I called him. I never called him. I texted him. Documentation beats conversation. Lie number one. And told him I wanted to press charges. I told him I did in Fulton County, but I didn't trust him. Text message. Lie number two. I called the church. A one-sided recording is available in Georgia. I talked to Marvell. She said Warnock wasn't in town, so it had to be John Vaughn who authorized it. This officer knows I'm about to file charges on John Vaughn. His report says he calls John Vaughn and asks John Vaughn what he wants to do. And John Vaughn says he wants to trespass me. He can't trespass me because we need to kill crime so we can lock him the fuck up. Something. We got to stop this from getting in Fulton County because we don't want all our shit to get out. And so ultimately what he does then is he opened, this is a discovery. He realized there wasn't enough evidence of a crime. Obviously, you fucknut. I just told you false report of a crime isn't a crime. So he decides that he wants to interview people to see if they'll be willing to come to court. Now we're going to watch his body cam, and it's imperative for y'all to understand how this plays out. When you go out of the Heritage Sanctuary, this is the door. This door right here goes to, let me get a better pen. This door right here goes to Deacon Marvin Brinson's desk. This door right here goes to the gift shop. This is the front door. The initial report says I walked out of the sanctuary into here, turned and walked out. On his body cam, he's now interviewing another woman. And on this body cam, they're going right past the door they said I was in. They're walking into this door. And this woman is lying about how this is her desk, how I'm just sitting here. Deacon Marvin Brinson is dying. I sat at this desk for 30 some odd years. This girl says on tape, I act like I own the place. I'm the last son of this sanctuary. I grew up here. There's a video y'all gonna see, a separate video they don't know that I've done because a lot of our deacons have already told me that they're about to set me up. That has me walking through the Heritage Sanctuary and talking about all what I was. Now, this woman sits here and the National Park Service law enforcement officer is standing right here and he's looking around at all this youth stuff and he's creating this narrative where he says inside of himself a series of events and he's going to have me arrested. This is imperative. And so this is December the whatever. Now, about this, let's fast forward. So December, during Warnock's election, it's all about community. We are filling up the clothing closet. We're collecting stuff. I told you as soon as he got in office, they took off. December 2002, there was a winter storm. December 30th, Bear, a homeless individual extremely close to me, dies in between the Heritage and the Horizon Sanctuary. Okay? And on January 30th, is when I gave his eulogy. January the 31st, I'm getting a phone call because MARTA is moving out the homeless. They're being aggressive toward TT. You guys see the video. I come up. I'm like, hey, bro, why you being so aggressive towards her? We're trying to move her from the bench because no, you're not. You're moving her because Biden's coming inside of the sanctuary. This change booth hasn't worked for 2.5 years. Stop the bullshit. My man getting all aggressive with me, kick rocks. So, fast forward the videotape. I'm being prosecuted by the National Park Service, and on February 18th, 2023, my best friend, Fitz, Sergeant Christopher Fitzgerald, Philadelphia Sheriff, the one who was a Philadelphia Sheriff and partnered, our sheriffs shift. We got Rochelle Bilal and Pat Labott 2021. And so Fritz is telling Rochelle Bilal's like, it's COVID. Outreach is down and she wants to get engaged. And so Fritz tells her about our church and we started giving out 3,000 pounds of food. February 18th, 2023, my third best friend is murdered as the first officer to die in the line of duty for Temple University. I sent a response over to Fitz because he's got daughters and we've got children. And this is devastating to our ministry. Letting them know our daughters are going to March 7th. This is a ticket. All right, let's reschedule it because it's sensitive time for our daughters. No, you got to be there. We know it's because the Waits are going to March 7th. They're going to have a photo op and get reappointed. And so he refused to reschedule. Our daughters go down, and one of our Atlanta daughters, Keyshawn Middlebrooks, does not make it back. Okay? This is devastating. Now, we pushing the issue. Okay? Because this isn't cool. Now, we're fast forward to May. I'm going to let y'all know what happened in May. I have been involved in this nationwide fight against Douglas Mesner, Dougie. Dougie changed his name in 2013-14 to Lucian Greaves. Doug runs the satanic cult that runs the after-school Satan Club. When Betsy DeVos came in and started pulling everything out of our school infrastructure, that's when the after-school Satan Club ramped up. They're not coming against the Good News Club because they're not involved in our urban trenches. They're coming up against USU. I had reached out to Shannon. I had reached out to Warnock and told them we're facing the After School Satan Club. And inside of Hellertown, Pennsylvania, the Scotland County School District, we were fighting inside of the federal court for Satan, trying to get accessibility to our stuff. We lost. We lost to, in the Philadelphia Federal Court, the Saucon Valley School District, Hellertown, Pennsylvania, clergy, parents, supporters. We lost to Satan. Okay, 2022, when the Supreme Court passed the abortion thing. Hey, listen, I ain't got no opinion on what a woman does with her body. If she ain't in my bed, you don't like my opinion, go home. Okay, like that. But they ruled we can have prayer in schools. This is imperative. This is the reason why Fulton County was able to use that King language with getting the boys together. Anyway, we lose in May, all right? And so on May the 2nd, we're just praying. Let me back up. Where Fulton County was getting the boys together first and third Saturday, we realized we were losing that building in like November. Ain't nobody admit that we knew, but like November we knew it was going. And Eric Vinton Thomas started soliciting me. And our Believing Soldier Battalion, his youth department is crap. There's a previous relationship because of Deacon Thomas and providing food outreach and things to that effect. And he's lying to the community. He's telling the boys that, oh, y'all can come over here. We're gonna launch something. He's flying the flag. I'm the city's faith-based liaison. All this stuff. And on May 2nd, which is National Prayer Day, he sends me over to Carver High School. Okay. He's taking pictures with successful teens in the sanctuary, promising the kids that, boom, this is what's going to be. And so during the month of May, Eric's son, Isaiah, I think his name is, he runs an after-school program that's facilitated inside the Parks and Rec. But something's going on at that particular site, so they're having it at the church. There's a child abuse situation where a little boy is running across the park, and my boy's got to get him. I'm bringing it up to Eric. He don't want to deal with it, whatever. Now, I should tell y'all, I think it might have been like February or something like that. I rented the house And the only reason I got accessibility, so we were already renting one house across the street from the church. One of my soldiers is single dad with a basketball court. There's a play street on Lockwood, and Eric has a member that lives right there. Elderly woman, my boys be cutting grass and all that. Got an Asian roommate, next door, trying to rent the house. We talking about, hey, look, I don't, because your reputation is so horrific with the community, you need kind of an outside, and we kind of come together. He's like, yo, look, well, I'll hook you up. You could be able to rent the house. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm renting a house from old boy, and renting a house from old boy. A tree falls on my truck, and so my insurance won't cover it. He gotta, I can't get him because he out of the country. The only other way to reach him is the girl next door who is a member of Eric's church, and all this stuff is going on. I'm suing old boy inside a magistrate court on some landlord tenant shit to fix my truck. All right, y'all see me always in the government building. It's like the week before Memorial Day, and some of my sheriffs, homies I know, they like, yo, bro, you know you got a warrant coming. I mean, a TPO, like a TPO. I got TPO. I ain't got no TPO, you and your boyfriend. So I'm like, what? So Wednesday, I go up to the ninth floor, which is the sheriff's department. I walk in. The sheriffs are running my name. Ain't no way in hell Fulton County sheriffs run your name and you got a warrant. So Friday night, this is Wednesday. I done had captains look at this, lieutenants. Boy, you cool. Go ahead. I'm trying to tell you some shit going on. So I'm at the house Friday night. APD at the front door. And APD says, hey, K, we got a warrant for your arrest. Look, and your landlord out here trying to get in here. But I've been trying to find my landlord for 4 months. We in court. Boom, he can't get in here. I got all types of personal data, whatever. Cool. They call Sergeant Robinson. Take me to jail, but lock my door so my landlord can't get in there. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's Rice Street. They ain't expecting nobody to come home before Tuesday morning. So Sunday morning, when I'm bebopping up the block, they shook. Okay, how the fuck? How in the world? What in the world? Bam! And so, bebopping up, and they got a U-Haul. They robbing my house, taking fucking everything. Okay, and so I call APD. Here go the police report, and the motherfucker won't even open the door for APD. They about to lock him up. Whatever. Bam. So we trying to figure out what's going on, and somehow this weirdo has a restraining order. That's what happens in magistrate court. A lot of landlords that do that. You're beating them. They're trying to evict you on some shit. So they go and they get this little TPO. But this is me. This is Fulton County. How in the world did you get a TPO against me? What the fuck did you tell this judge? Well, let me tell you. Here it go right here. It says that I had a situation with another landlord. There's a girl that worked in Kinley's. This her fucking landlord. This ain't my shit. We all gonna see this girl pop up with a bunch of false police reports later in 2024 with Kenley Waller and GSU. And this one is very important. Y'all see this date? On April the 12th, 2024. That's Reverend Dr. Albert Paul Brenson's birthday. April the 8th is when I'm at the King Center reef laying. I'm there. I question Connie Lindsay Smith. You see on tape Timothy McDonald. You see, now Eric Tidwell is the King Center's general counsel. On this tape of the 24th, probably about 41 minutes in, you see me have this conversation with Eric where we walk through the entire history of the Mamas. He go, yup. That's dead to rights. What I did after that, when you go to the Real Rebellious Rosa Parks, or excuse me, the Kingdom Marketplace / Rosa Parks, is you see a clip, and in that clip, you see me in the Rosa Parks room. Now, this instance that this landlord's talking about is the key, because he says on April the 12th, 2024, I'm harassing employees at the Martin Luther King Center. There's no police report. How the fuck does he know what took place at the King Center? And then we're going to have that tape. On that tape, I'm walking inside of the King Center. I'm telling y'all, we know this entrapment's going to take place. I'm inside. This pregnant girl walks up. I've never seen before. Excuse me, who are you? I'm coming down the steps. You're gonna see this dude, young dude, all aggressive. I'm asking, why are you so fucking passive aggressive? You get this girl Tammy. You see her nervous. She's shaking and shit. You gotta go. I don't know who you are. You're not Juanita. I just had a conversation with Eric Tidwell. He general counsel in front of all the press and everybody. Nobody saying I wasn't supposed to be here. Why I'm not supposed to be here now? Now, that's the 26th of May. Told you, Fulton County getting all these boys together. I graduate these boys in custom cut suits. Historic Auburn Avenue Library on June 2024. 3 weeks later, 3 boys get shot at the Reverend James Orange Park. Shannon Jones calls a prayer rally at the park, just like he did in when 2 boys got shot at Landing Station. He shows up late. That's a safe space. We got a football team, all types of stuff. Nobody knows him. I give him an introduction. Reverend Jones, he rolls his window down and says, KJ, don't make me get out the car and fuck you up. Rolls his window up, turns around, drives out the park, and never prays. 3 weeks later, Eric Vincent Thomas, Shannon Jones are hosting Byron Johnson, the incoming superintendent for Atlanta Public Schools. We want to ask him some questions on behalf of clergy. Shannon Jones has benefited from my ministerial experience. So has Eric Vincent Thomas. They blocked me from the clergy meeting. And it's a big stink. Now, we got Deacon Johnson, Thomas over there, an iconic GOAT, prayer warrior. And so we don't want to create this for him because he's sick. And so that's where this stems from. Now, what's going to happen is they're going to keep me from Christine King Ferris's funeral. They're going to keep me from Naomi Barbara King's funeral. Actually, in May of 2024 is where John Vaughn's going to issue me a letter throwing me out of the Ebenezer congregation, keeping me from Christine King Ferris's funeral, keep me from Naomi Barbara King's funeral, keep me from Deacon Marvin Benson's funeral. And then when Cornelius Taylor is murdered and they got to bring the body in, they need community. Now they needs me. He opens and lifts the band, has me walk in, and like everything is good. But at this funeral for Cornelius Taylor, what I didn't tell y'all was after the first 2 cases that Warnock had me federally prosecuted on were thrown out by federal judges, then I'm in a sanctuary and I'm walking out again. And just like before, I'm walking out the same door and I'm getting here. And now he's got a security guard. And the security guard says, I can't be in here. This is National Park. Why can't I be here? I'm your assistant. Because you can't be in here. Well, whatever. And so I walk out. When we're outside on the street, he calls me a nigger. Says he's going to, all this is recorded. Says he's going to fuck me up. Says I'm going to get hurt. And then pulled up the phone and makes a false police report and says that I'm aggressive. I'm like, I'll be in a barbershop. When the police come, you're going to jail. Now, the reason this is important is because the last time we see a video of Deacon Marvin Brinson sitting at his desk, me talking to him and talking to another of the female deacons, Brittany, who is in the back, and this other deacon, well, what are they doing? You hear me talk about that a man fought in 2 wars. He's just trying to get some food. One of the deacons asked what's going on. He's just back there getting optics. As I'm talking calmly, you'll see in the video, Brittany Johnson comes up. He not supposed to be here. She's talking to 2 deacons, Deacon Marvin Brinson, Deacon, the other deacon. Now, if there had been a deacon meeting where I was voted, I was not supposed to be in there, then the deacons would know. Deacon Marvin Brinson on tape says, I ain't heard nothing about that. She says, I don't care what you and the deacon board does. Pushes past me. It's all on tape. Gets outside. As soon as she hits the streets, goes, security, raid. I walk back in. I'm a little disheveled because of that exchange. And you hear the mama deacon say, well, what's she doing? Going to go call a man at the same fucking man that at Cornelius Taylor's funeral. You're going to see a tape. I walk up to him and I ask him, because I recorded this. I've emailed it to John Vaughn. I made sure they got the Warnocks and I'm asking him, what did your boss, this United States Senator, do, senior pastor of the church, do, when he found out when you were on duty, you called me a nigger, said you was going to fuck me up, said I was going to get hurt, and then consistency is key, just like John Vaughn, just like Brittany Johnson, made a false police report. Oh, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Fuck boy, it's on tape. Oh, we just gonna sweep that under the rug. Huh? What? Okay. So I told you on January the 8th, well, I don't know if I did, But on January 8th, we had King Gibson. Well, we had King Gibson from January 2024. We started putting the boys through a rites of passage. We had King Gibson from the IRS come over and talk to the boys. I'm trying to get some high level folk to come talk to the boys. So I go in and I'm asking, and Shannon says I killed Deacon Bill Ficklin. What? January 15th, I go back because they're hosting Natalie Hall at Concerned Black Clergy. She's our commissioner for the 04th Ward, Georgia State. I go inside, and when I go inside, I provide, our Fulton County Marshal, Maria McKee, got to step out. I don't know what's wrong with your anointing, but it's bringing out his demons, saying I'm aggressive. Did y'all notice 6 months later at the park, there's a shooting of our boys? I'm always ministering. He pops up and gets aggressive. So this is the point. Now, there's a defamation suit I filed against Shannon, but our Fulton County Sheriff said when they went to serve him at West Haven that the Starks, the folks that own that church, said that they evicted Concerned Black Clergy for not paying their bills. So the sheriffs can't find him to serve him because he doesn't have a legitimate address. At Cornelius Taylor's funeral, I asked him, my boy, what's up? Fulton County trying to serve you, more defamation. Well, if you notice, we're having a march where we're walking Cornelius Taylor's body from there up to the city hall. So I'm walking with Willie Watkins. I tell him about the situation, how the girls are mourning, send it over to my office. I send it over. Precious Armands takes out a diamond profile, pays a deposit. The girls do everything. It comes time to pay the invoice, and Willie Watkins doesn't pay his invoice, but instead reverses the deposit, says that the work isn't up to caliber. Our girls sue him in magistrate court. He hires an attorney. The attorney reviews the case and found out he's dead to rights because he didn't say that he didn't authorize it. The work wasn't up to caliber. The work is phenomenal. And so there's a loophole where you can file a counterclaim and procedurally get the case moved from magistrate court to superior court, because in superior court, the girls got to pay $3,000 to have an attorney. And if they don't have an attorney, you can get it dismissed and never look at the merits of the case. Boom. Now, in the interim, the girls have scheduled that they're going to launch their Black Women Run the World campaign from Elizabeth Baptist Church on May the 31st, 2025. I go over, I view the venue. Only thing I haven't done is cut the check because they're still fundraising for it. I get a text message from Elizabeth Baptist Church event coordinator that used to work at the King Center and says because our girls have put the King Center on select patronage, then Elizabeth won't rent to them. It blocks their summer event. Our girls still haven't been paid, but then you got Kenley Waller acting like, oh, I can't believe Willie did that. Da, 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 da. In the interim, this attorney files some kind of fucking restraining order and tries to say that I'm harassing Willie Watkins, I'm this threat to Ferris, and to get me removed from anywhere that Willie would be. Coincidentally, on the same day that he's filing that, Willie Watkins is sitting inside of Keyshawn's or inside of Kenley's, and he's having his girl, the same girl that was involved in this shit, that was in the house with this shit, taking pictures, posting it, trying to sexually solicit me, pull me in and this shit, like I'm falling for it, whatever, let it go. And then what happens is the judge, Nikema Williams, looks at it, sees all the corruption and recuses herself. October 24th comes up. This is the ascension date of Senator Leroy Johnson. This is the ascension date of Rosa Parks. This matters. I'm not even in fucking the city of Atlanta. First time we're allowing our daughters to go back to Alabama because they're putting a Rosa Parks statue over in Alabama in one of DeKalb County. I get a phone call from the same girl that, done bought out. They offer a check. Everybody go frantic. Oh, what you did. This is a false police report. Put the officer on the phone talking about I did something with Johnny Waller. The fuck? Anyway, put the officer. I'm talking to a Georgia State officer. He gives me a name that isn't a Georgia State officer. He won't give me a case number, an incident number. So I call up the records room, no case number, no incident number. That means this had to go through the officer's cell phone, which is illegal. So now I got this girl, and I'm like, man, who the fuck is this officer? I'm making a stink with Georgia State. You go, oh, you're going to get me fired. I don't give a fuck. You just try to get me caught up in some illegal shit. And so I'm telling Willie Watkins, or I'm telling GSU, I want to know who this officer is, da-da-da-da-da-da, I want you to investigate it, da-da-da-da-da. So this girl sends me a text message talking about Kenley said, I'm going to get a restraining order and get you out of here. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? And based on the shit that's happened, I go to Fulton County, and Fulton County Superior Judge gives me a restraining order to minister inside or whatever. Now I'm ducking away from them. I ain't really fucking with them folks. It's January the 29th. And January the 29th, because it's now so you can know. Cynthia Dolores Nodis Tucker ascended October the 12th, 2005. Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks, October 24th, 2005. Coretta Scott King, January 30th, 2006. It's 110 days. Our students, USU has honored that 110 days with fasting, prayer, reflection, and we're closing out 20 years and ain't nobody said a fucking word. Okay, all right, nobody, nobody. And so they make it all about me. They sweep under the rug. Da 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 da. Don't worry about it because this is important now. Flying below the radar, doing all we can. Our daughters have this thing set up. They're gonna have it at FCS Carver because May 14th, 2025, when we're setting up everything at Carver, there's a fake bomb scare. APS has its own public safety, and it's got two buildings. Now, Carver's is special to us. Yolanda was the student government president at Grady High School, but Carver's our number 2 high school because of spiritual significance. The theological center used to be Old Clark, da 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 da. This rookie gets a call and evacuates both buildings, blows SOP. Everybody outside. The only reason they get to go use the restroom is because of FCS. Now, we know all of this shit is sweeping under the rug because we're holding accountable for our kids. Everything's done. And we're making it through the year below the radar because they're targeting everybody after we see what they've done with this girl. None of our girls want to come forward because there's a bunch of pressure, all that type of thing. And so it's spring break. We're facilitating everything in the Carver cluster quietly because, you know, everybody's coming back. Hey, everybody's asking about all this other stuff, you know, what they doing. And the long story short is the day before Good Friday, I pull up at Finch Elementary and we see the parent, the community engagement, just no food. All right. I pull over on to St. Vincent because I set it up. We were riding around giving away food, making it happen, and come to find out that they've got this new grant. The woman who used to facilitate it has left the church. They got this new girl over there. They got a whole bunch of corrupt shit going on with the food. Boom. And so it's Reverend Brinson's 88th birthday. I know I'm going to blow the budget because I'm going to feed our kids. And so I put out that I'm feeding our kids and the work that we're doing. And what really happens is they find out, oh shit, they didn't go away. They really been working. They're about to buy Bailey's. They send the news folks over there, write a fake story, isn't the real story. I'm asking them to retract the story. No, fuck it. We swept you under the rug. What about their kids? And so our daughters come up with the last moment. They put up an individual I'm not going to talk about. They put up Marvin Simpson. Marv acknowledges it, says yes, 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 yes. It comes into the week before Mother's Day. Okay? They realize how these mothers are doing and how they feel. And then Marvin Nesbitt pulls the fuck out. Crashes everything. Now, I've been telling y'all, but USU, that, you know, I used to be the kid in the creative arts department and Yolanda was running it. We became the creative arts department for the Easter play. This year, we ain't playing. The most powerful 40 days that Jesus spent up to the cross on the earth were not the 40 days up to the cross. They were the 40 days after the cross. Okay? And so, because up to the cross, it was an is you ain't my Jesus. And if you is, you help some of the other folk, help yourself. But when he got up and started teaching Kingdom for 40 days, Ascension date is tomorrow. I've been teaching Kingdom for 40 days. A lot of con-ons and classroom clowns don't like it. But the Holy Ghost, the Holy Hood Ghost, the Holy Spirit of God, it ministers in all truth. And everything in the dark comes to light. So I've been attacked. I want y'all to realize that I've never gotten a check from any of these folks. They try to say I was a speaker for this, I was a speaker for that. No, I'm the moral conscience. I hadn't got a check since Yolanda died. Burned my entire life savings to make this happen because that was a commitment that me and my brother made to Yolanda for our mothers. Our mothers have been dying. You don't know how I go in the hood. If my mama go for yours, I got you. Or if you go before me, I got you, your mama and your folks. And so my brother, he died 20 years ago. And so I had his mama, I had his sister, I had our family, and I had this work. His mama died February the 9th of this year. Our mama died, our last one. It's been devastating for me. These folks have known all about it. They've leveraged it for a check. They've leveraged it for a bag. And my grandmother buried her daughter. My sister buried her mama. And I ain't lying for these folk no more. So all this shit comes down. The thing that they trying to get away from, that they hate, is that I tell me down here. Now I'm put this video up of Tangi. How the fuck did he know this shit took place at the King Center? How? Does it have to do with Alveda and Eric Vincent Thomas? Because, you know, you got Shannon and Isaac on one side of the AD. You got, and what's the difference? You know, you look at the King Center wall and you see Isaac Ferris Jr. and you see Alveda on the wall under John Lewis with a picture of Donald Trump. And when it comes to our kids, the original curriculum for the King Center, approved by our mothers and our prophetic parents, is Success for Teens. It's got 8 chapters. It's got 4 principles per all. And, you know, Warnock spent $1 million house, or $1 million in tithes offering for a second home in DeKalb County. And the King Center, they talking about how 96365 has impacted all these millions of kids. It hasn't. It's a shell. So they can say their youth department has, but that's our work, my work. So this summer, I'm not denying our children a real pipeline. And so it's got 8 chapters. It's got 4 principles per chapter. It's got 32 in all. We're going to go through 8 weeks of Summer Success School on Monday, or we're going to do a chapter a week on Monday. We're going to do the chapter, point 1, Tuesday, point 2, Wednesday, point 3, Thursday, point 4. Friday, we're going to have a recap, and we're still going to have Success Saturdays. Marvin Nesbitt at FCS has 3 hours to make good on his demand. Otherwise, well, shit, the truth is already out. And, you know, you got a Morehouse guy that was a diamond that keep talking about Warnock, and all of a sudden he's disappeared. I don't know you people. I don't give a fuck about you people. Jesus, he dealt with y'all like this. Because it's not personal. It's prophetic. You folks have become so sermonically shallow in the text. You're more like Paulians than Christians. You're more into what Paul said than what Jesus said. Let me remind you what Jesus said. Mark the 10th chapter. I'm going to jump in at 13th verse. And they brought the young children to him, to Jesus, that he should touch them. And the disciples, those closest to him, rebuked them. And they brought the young children to him that he should touch them. And the disciples rebuked them that brought them. Hold on. Let me, I don't want to, I'm in it wrong. Hold on. And when Jesus heard it, he was much displeased. He's pissed off, and he said, "Suffer the little children to come unto me, and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of God. Verily I say unto you, whoever shall not receive this, the kingdom of God as a little child, shall not enter." And he took the kids in their arms, he put their hands upon them, and he blessed them. Let's look at Matthew 18:6, and Jesus makes it plain. He says, "But whosoever," put a face on it, no fuck about your title or position, "offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it would be better if a millstone be wrapped around his neck and then be dropped in the depths of the sea." Eric did what he did to the boys. They came back and bust his windows out. Now they didn't do nothing violent shit because Deacon Thomas was dying. They feel like Deacon Thomas is dying and Eric, you did all this shit. I'm not protecting none of you fuckers. My hands are washed, which I'll get for these kids. But as far as my shit, that's what it is. I'm for the kids. I'm for the gospel. Jesus said the hireling comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But not me. I'm the good shepherd. I lay down my life and pick it back up. This is the order I got from my father. All these niggas slid in 20 years ago when Coretta was dying and they were setting up for the takeover. Y'all do realize Alveda sued Coretta for control of the King Center in 1994. And so that's what it is, the AD King shit. It ain't got nothing to do with Babs Abajuju. He was a puppet. It's really a plot. to take over our youth department. Same way they sold it in '94. This was the plot to sell it after they killed Yolanda, in my